Greetings, Christian poker players and those who love them. Welcome to Drawing Live Poker Ministry. My name is Harvest Rich. I'm a Christian and I'm married to a Christian poker player. This video is being filmed on October 31st, 2023, which also happens to be Halloween and which is why I'm wearing my orange sweater and favorite fall scarf for a head covering. In today's In the Mission Field, I've got three things I'd like to share with you. First, I want to talk about the difference between my videos and Chris's videos because this is my first In the Mission video, and so I want to just make sure that you know what to expect. The second thing is to get you caught up a little bit on the ministry and what has been happening over the last 5 months. Don't worry, that'll only take a couple minutes. And then finally, I do have a In the Mission Field tip of the week for you. So make sure you stay tuned to the end. So first of all, I want to touch on the difference between my videos versus Chris's videos for this ministry. If you've watched our introductory series at all, you know that that the mission of Drawing Live Poker Ministry is to equip Christian poker players and those who love them to share the gospel of Jesus at the table and around the world. And so in that, obviously, there is a need for somebody to be out in the card rooms, intentionally seeking out other Christian poker players to introduce them to the ministry, but also to be having gospel-centered conversations at the poker table. And that is the realm that Chris is mostly falling into for the ministry. Of course, there's going to be some overlap between us, but I am not a poker player, so you will not see me, thank goodness, at the poker table. But where I come in is there's this other added aspect to the ministry that if you've watched our introductory series, we alluded to in both in the first and the third video. And that is that we want to bring you along for our journey. Chris and I, we just literally just stepped out in faith in this ministry to do what we believed God was calling us to do. And we don't have like a background in ministry or like a pastor of a church or any of those types of things. And so our heart is really to try to equip you to step out in faith as well to whatever it is that God is calling you to do. And we felt like one way that we might be able to help with that is by sharing our like behind the scenes or the business of the ministry, if you will. I don't really like to refer to it that way. We're not running a business by any stretch of the imagination, but there's the administrative. That's probably the better term for it. There's this administrative aspect to doing ministry that also needs to occur, and that's sort of my role. And so as we move forward with these In the Mission Field videos, those will be the types of updates that you get from me. You and I are going to live sort of in this meta space where I'm doing the ministry but sharing how I'm doing it with you as we go along. So that's the first piece that I wanted to talk to you about. My videos will differ from Chris's in that I'll be talking more specifically about how we do the ministry, where Chris is focusing on actually doing the work of the ministry. But both are needed, and of course there's a little bit of overlap that will occur in there as well. The second thing that I wanted to do today is help get you caught up a little bit. So again, if you watched our introductory series, you know that back in May, Chris and I quit our jobs, sold our home, and left our family and friends and moved from Oregon to Las Vegas, Nevada, so that we could really be present in our mission field. And so that's what we did. We had hopes back then that we would be able to launch the ministry and get things up and running by the beginning of September. We actually were naive enough to think that that was plenty of time. I mean, it was May after all, right? So that didn't happen. We didn't actually launch our first videos until October. And so there were just a lot of things that happened there. We didn't know what we didn't know. Uh, we're not professional YouTubers or anything like that, so we had to do a lot of research into even just simple, basic things that you all probably already know and will never need me to teach you. But but like we had to just learn, about sound and lighting, and not that these things are always important for what we're doing, but for the vision that we had, they would become important. And so there was that. We had a learning curve. We also lacked a skill set, so we were having to Google and watch YouTube tutorials on how to even do some of the things. We had to purchase equipment and that we didn't know we were going to need. Just little things like that kept creeping in. But now we're actually launched and happy to be here, and we should hopefully, God willing, be on a regular, consistent pouring out of the video. And then finally, the final thing, sorry, I was just looking at the time and I'm like, we're trying to keep these under 7 minutes. So finally, the last thing for you is my tip of the week for in the mission field, and that is tied to this idea of we didn't know what we were doing and setting out for. And we want to work with the spirit of excellence, don't we? When we're doing something, especially if we're putting the name of God or the Lord as part of it, we really want to make sure that we work with a spirit of excellence as though unto the Lord, right? We want to do the very best we can do with our skill set. And it's easy to get confused between working with excellence and working toward perfection. And I found myself getting caught up in that just a little bit. And um, and so during my prayer time about how to go about the ministry thing, I just learned, felt Holy Spirit whisper to me, there's a difference between excellence for the Lord and perfection for yourself. Basically meaning that perfection is tied to pride. It's a fear of looking foolish or not looking good enough in front of others. But excellence for the Lord is really coming from a place of doing your best, putting it before the Lord with the skills and the equipment and the time that He's blessed you with. And so that's your takeaway tip from the mission field for this week. Thank you so much for tuning in. God willing, I will see you next Wednesday. Until then, may God bless you and those you love.